Greetings, Eric Bakker, New Zealand naturopath. Right, I've got a question about ears here now. Constantly itchy ears, can it be Candida? So itchy ears we call Otomycosis generally, which is like a fungal kind of an infection of the ear. Fungal, very common with the ear with some people. So Otomycosis is often caused by aspergillus, a type of a yeast, or Candida. There are different species of Candida that can affect the ear. So have you seen people who are always doing this? My mum used to do this when I came up to asking her for pocket money, but that wasn't really itchy ear, was it? That was more like, I don't want to hear. So itchy ears are not that uncommon in children. My dad had itchy ears all the time. He used to drive him crazy. He was always itching his ear and scratching his scalp and adjusting things around, down here somewhere. But in Dad's case, it was because he liked cookies. My dad would eat a whole packet of 20 cookies in one sitting. And then he'd have a cup of coffee with 3 sugars in it. And then after an evening meal, he'd have 5 scoops of ice cream in a bowl. My dad was a sugar addict, a chronic sugar addict. He had serious Candida. You can read about my dad in my book, Candida Crusher. My dad always had his finger in his ear, itching his ear. I've got that memory as a child. And I can still remember the big ballpoints, and then he would put the ballpoint in his ear and insert it. Mum would say, "Don't put that pen in your ear, you're teaching the kids bad habits," But always itching his ear. So itchy ears often mean fungal infection. Fungal infection often means you've got an ear where the conditions are just right for fungus to really take off. Swimmer's ear or athlete's ear, it's not uncommon. I had a friend once who used to have swimmer's ear all the time. The doctor gave him these like fungal drops to put in the ear. Had I known about tea tree oil back then, I would have said, make sure the ear's dried out with the Q-tip and then just put 1 or 2 drops of tea tree oil in your ear. Tracy, my partner's dog, it's a black Labrador. It always goes like this in summertime. It flaps its ears around and it's got itchy ear. So I'll often pull the ear open, have a good look inside it and get a Q-tip and clean it out a bit and then put a few drops of tea tree oil in there and just rub around there. And then several days later, it stops. So tea tree oil is very, very effective for this particular type of condition. So itchy ears is often a fungal infection. If you suffer from itchy ears regularly and you're a swimmer or a surfer, for example, make sure that you tilt your head sideways always when you come out the water to get the water out of the ear. And every now and then put a couple of drops of tea tree oil in these ears. So that's tea tree, Teatree. Make sure when you get a tea tree oil, you get the Australian tea tree oil. It's the best in the world. The Melaleuca alternifolia tea tree. Tea trees grow in New Zealand and Australia. We've got different types of tea tree in New Zealand. We've got one called Manuka. You might have heard of Manuka honey. Manuka is a type of tea tree. We've also got Carnuka. So Carnuka is also a kind of tea tree. In Australia, I think there's over 100 types of tea tree, and they're called Melaleucas. But the Melaleuca alternifolia is the Australian tea tree where the best oil comes from. And the best oil in the world grows in this particular region in New South Wales, in this swampy kind of region. The best brand, in my opinion, is called Thursday, as in, the day Thursday, Plantation. So if you're going to buy tea tree oil, buy Thursday Plantation. It's a bright yellow fluorescent kind of colouring label. It's the best in the world. And it's an outstanding product to have in your kit when you go travelling. If you go to Costa Rica or the Bahamas or India or any kind of country that's hot or sweaty, do not leave without tea tree oil. To me, that's like taking traveller's checks with you or cash, or credit cards. You wouldn't leave without those. You wouldn't think of it. And in my opinion, you wouldn't want to go to any of these countries without tea tree oil. To me, it's a godsend. So I always carry it with me. I have tea tree oil toothpaste, and I wash my body every day with the Thursday Plantation tea tree oil soap. I love it. It's got a very fine hint of tea tree with it. They make shampoos, they make powders, they make all kinds of stuff. But their oil is exceptional. So just 1 drop or 2 drops in each ear. Try not to poke things in the ear because you can get damage to the eardrum by doing so. But the oil is very safe to use. Itchy ears, Candida. Think about the diet. Think about what you're eating. Are you eating sugar? Are you having, ice cream or candy or stuff like that? So think carefully. And if you're doing that, you'll be able to stop that and treat the ear with the drops, and that should sort the problem. Thanks for tuning in.